Ho Biscuits? It's your girl Skitten, back at it again. My knee is getting so much better.
You keep them that updated on your life?
Yeah.
Man.
So somebody, let me see if I can find it real quick.
Go for it.
Okay. Chronology of every Skitten video intro. What up, Ho Biscuits? It's your girl Skitten, back at it again. Intro talking about some random life shit. Who's in? NT who's in. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are staying safe and sanitized. Another NT who's in and then actual intro to the video. And 3 and a 2 and a 1 play. And I was just like, I feel both attacked and seen. So anyways, my knee is getting better. My eyelash extensions basically all fell out, so I spent an hour putting, like, I cut up a pair of eyelashes that I didn't like, and then I like filled in the gaps in my eyelash extensions. So NT who's in, we are here to watch some Jaiden animation. I watched my first one on Chavezz's channel, so make sure y'all check that one out. And I'm checking out this one, which is called I Hate Reading, which is a very stressful sentence for me to read. So we're gonna see what she has to say about hating reading. So I'm stressed, but I'm
ready.
I'm ready because her animation style is bomb.
Yeah.
Reading, books, libraries.
I love libraries.
It's all boring. I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion or not. When I was growing up, it was pretty normal. But now I always hear people gush about how great it is to bundle up in a warm blanket with, quote, a good book, while the faint light of the fall evening peeks out of their cracked windows and hits their collection of plants perfectly. They've got a warm cup of chamomile tea they've prepared with the Keurig they use daily, and actually it's a funny story. They were about to get one at Target because they were on sale, but they received one as a gift instead. What a coincidence. And they have
She's
a cat.
shitting on these people.
She said it wrong because people who talk like that are like, what a coinky dink.
Oh yeah, facts.
What a coinky dink. Like, shut the fuck up.
Saying that isn't a poetic life you've got going on over there. But I still don't like reading and have a cat allergy. It's kind of complicated. The thought of reading sounds really nice to me. It's supposed to be calming and good for your brain in some sort of way. I don't know how exactly, but people repeat it all the time, so it might be true. But I think I've got some weird reading PTSD from school because the other part of my brain thinks about how boring and slow and too quiet it's gonna be, and I feel like I have to take notes and memorize things and identify the plot points and know the names and symbolisms and To Kill a Mockingbird and...
My sister is playing annoying songs. The Flaming Chicken, blank, blank, blank. But I'll still be writing this even after I achieve the world record, of course. Well, I would love to read this.
Happening?
I would love to read that. You ready?
I don't know. Okay.
What the fuck is this word? Zoom in on that. What the hell? What is this?
I have no idea.
Identify the plot.
But also, you never like just sat and like read a book with like some music? Like just read it. You're just talking about like how quiet it like. Just sit down and read a book with some music, bitch. Damn, it's not that fucking hard. Plug in your fucking your headphones to your fucking CD player, because I know you're old enough to have had a fucking CD player instead of a fucking MP3 player. And sit down and pick up a fucking Magic School Bus book or something.
She's watching
Magic Treehouse book, that's what it is.
She's watching me write blank, blank, blank. There's this new thing where she says the word poop nonstop. I don't really like it, period. She also eats her own boogers, blank, blank. She's gross like that.
Also that.
Also that.
Plot points and know the names and symbolisms and To Kill a Mockingbird and oh god, was I supposed to read up to chapter 7 by Thursday or through it? I used to love reading. I still have the strong memory of going to my elementary school's library and being excited to check out the next Geronimo Stilton book because I loved the pictures and fun text they had. They always wrote the word cheese like this, and being able to read books that had more than 10 words on the page was impressive to a 6-year-old. Whenever I found a book I liked growing up, I would read it non-stop. I was able to crush a 300-pager in 2 days, which I don't think is considered impressive anymore, but it was in 5th grade, and look, that was the only self-worth I had, alright? But when school started making us read books by force, it kind of took the fun away from me. I don't like being told what to do with my free time, especially if you're gonna make me read a book written in the 1940s that I need Cliff Notes to decode, just to realize that all the animals were communists. Also, it's 20% of my grade. I get it, though. What else are we gonna do in English class? We can all understand each other, right? We're speaking English. that's gotta count for something, right? But the more I had to read really cryptic books in my spare time where the symbolism is in the color of the main character's curtains, and I'm not even observant enough to realize they had curtains, led me to not really having fun and also feeling like an idiot. I like my subtlety like I like my coffee. Splash in my face. How am I supposed to know what the A stands for adultery? I don't know. It could mean a woman for a...
I mean, to be fair, they say in the book that the A stands for adultery, but the Scarlet Letter...
Man, you just hurt a lot of feelings there.
They do!
You mean I had to read it and remember what I read?
What?
Holy shit balls.
They say, like, something brand of something whore, something. Like, but also, to be fair, the Scarlet Letter is a slog. One of my favorite older novels, like, to be fair.
Right.
But that shit was...
garbage.
And I can't imagine having to read it. Like, okay, so I read it by choice when I was, like, younger.
And you called me a loser.
Well, I read it by choice because I was trying to get through the reading list for a specific college that I was trying to get into. And that was like on their reading list, so then I read it, and then I ended up not being allowed to go to that college because my mom was like, "You're not going across country because you're only 15, and I don't trust you to not go out and do drugs or whatever." It was a terrible impression of my mother. But I read that, but then I had to read it again in college, and when I had to read it again in college, I was like, "Y'all had to read this in high school?"
Yeah.
Like, that's awful.
The worst part is between high school and college, they wanted you to get different things from the reading.
Right.
So a lot of things in high school that you went over were literally do you remember when they said A is for adult? Like, that was like on the test. A, B, C, D,
right.
Fill in the blank. And in college, they're like, write an essay exploring the themes in the Scarlet Letter.
Yeah.
Explain why they're impactful on writing today.
Right.
And you're just like, oh man, I quit.
I just thought the theme was that A was for adultery.
You read the fucking whole book. A is for adultery. Play the goddamn video.
All I know. Asparagus. But all that isn't anything new. Everyone complains about English assignments. Everyone hates reading the Scarlet Letter. Everyone thinks school should die. However, something that also locked in my disdain for reading was my mom. Hi, Mom! Of course, as a parent, you don't want your child to do nothing but play video games all day. That obviously leads to undeniable life failure. So what's the solution? Make them read more. And on paper, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Honestly, I'll probably use that parenting technique too. When applicable. I think my mom made the obvious good parenting decision. But as the victim here, I believe I fell in the small minority where it had the overall opposite effect. During summer vacation, my mom would always tell me that I needed to read at least 2 books so I don't forget how to read. Whenever my mom would walk in on my brother and I playing Mario Kart together in the living room, she would ask if we've read yet today, which we would respond no, because reading's for chumps. And then she'd lock us in our rooms to be chumps. I started hating reading so much, I would rather do literally nothing than read a book. There were a couple summers where I faked reading entire books because I just didn't want to read that much. There was this one about dragons, I think, called The Secret Country, and I still remember that just looking at the cover would put me in a bad mood because of hatred association.
Okay.
Screw your secret country. When I was being forced to read, I would sit angrily on my bed, open the book, move the bookmark a reasonable amount forward to make it look like I read, and then just sit there for 30 minutes staring at it. It was boring, and I don't know what was wrong with me. I could have had at least a decent time if I just tried to read the dang book, but I guess it turned into a dignity thing.
She's describing half the symptoms of just like depression. Like, it made me very depressed.
Yeah.
I'd rather sabotage my day than just read it.
Yeah, that's... I'm keeping quiet because, like, she's speaking and I feel like her experience is very valid, but at the same time she's wrong. So it's just like...
Yeah.
Because, basically, your disdain from reading just came from you just, like, being a kid who wanted to do whatever you wanted the whole time. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like...
How dare you make me not play video games and make me read?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's just like one of those things where it's just like...
It's built up into a negative experience, though. Like, that's real.
Right.
Yeah.
But I guess for me, it's just like I never had that option.
Right.
I never had the option to just like choose to not like something so much that I just didn't do it. Like,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's just not... So, I mean, like... I'm sorry, but also just like stop being such a dick.
Well,
like,
you know, it's like that's also part of it because like my sister did do that.
Yeah.
You know, and that had the consequences it had. You know, whatever. But for me, I had the option to read or write.
Yeah.
So on days that I couldn't read, like I just couldn't focus enough to read, I was allowed to like write things, like write books or stories or like whatever. And on those days, I was allowed to draw. You know, if I couldn't get through that. And then on other days when I couldn't do any of those things, I was allowed to like tinker on stuff.
Yeah.
So it was like a well-rounded, you just need to be productive at something. And so when I would just choose to read because I'd be outside all goddamn day, I want to stay inside because it's hot.
Yeah.
You know? But like, I think that's where a lot of parents are falling short is they're not giving really any options.
Right.
It's like you have to just read, only read.
And like for me, I guess it's like different because it was the opposite for me. My parents would be like, get the fuck out of the house.
No.
Stop. Like I used to come home with like, I don't remember what the max, I think they oh, that's right. They upped the maximum amount of books that you could check out at my library specifically for me. Because I used to leave with 20 books and then come back 3 days later. So then they upped it to like 25 books. So I could take 25 books home and then bring them back like within a couple days.
Get them home? What is... All right.
My dad used to take me.
We'll play this.
And then I had a backpack, so I used to shove them all in my backpack.
That's where your calves come from to this day.
Maybe a year or so later, I decided to restart the same book and give it another shot on my own terms, and I finished it in 2 days. It was pretty good. I did it again with another book called Molly Moon and the Morphing Mystery. It's like the 5th book in this Molly Moon series. It's been a while, so I don't really remember the story, but it's about this orphan who can hypnotize people and has a pug. Anyway, it's funky because I actually read the first few books of the series on my own and remember really liking them. I would read them any chance I got, but as soon as I was forced to read this one, I just decided I'd rather literally waste my time and sit alone rebelling against reasonable parenting. But this time I never went back to read it. I think that might have been the point of no return for me. I think the association of reading as a necessity or some sort of punishment has deep-rooted itself in me, and now I just feel like reading isn't fun or I'm in trouble for something even though I live alone. I've tried listening to audiobooks, but honestly, they make me feel really lonely. I don't know why. It might be the lack of visuals. I like...
Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay. So I went from being like, so basically you were just a brat and that turned into you not liking reading to like, are you okay?
Yeah, that's
like,
what
are
I'm
you
telling
all
you.
right?
That's not supposed to be funny. That's not how I feel at all. I feel like a guy's reading a book to me.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Like pictures. And also no one else is around. It's the same with music.
Wow.
I've never been a big music person, so whenever I try to sit down and do something while listening to music, it somehow enhances this feeling of being alone and like time is going by slower, which makes me uncomfortable. So I always have either YouTube videos or more recently Twitch streams in the background. I'm still not super used to Twitch
legit,
yet,
though.
but I like Ryukar's stuff. He plays Mario Maker. Sometimes I wish I read more. It might be good for me to slow down instead of always consuming fast-paced content on the internet, but on the other hand, I think it's just a preference I have that's been cemented with bad association. If you like reading, I think that's really great. I've got a lot of friends who like reading, and it's cool that you've got a really nice hobby you can fall back on to de-stress, or however you people feel while staring at words all day. I was gonna say you should recommend a good book I should give a try, but I took a second to think about if I would actually try to read any suggestions.
I would never recommend a book
and being
to you.
real with myself, the answer is no. So, enjoy that chamomile tea.
Hey,
Cute. That's a cute video.
Her animation style is just so good. Like, she's just so good.
Yeah.
Like, I can almost forgive her for being uncultured.
Yeah, one of those. One of the unmentionables. You know, I think one of the things that really, really creative people have issues with.
Overstimulation?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all it sounds like
Yeah.
when she's talking about like reading and so it just sounds like you know, a combination of like overstimulation and like negative associations that like she made herself, but those negative associations that you make, even if it's like of your own making, like when you're a child, they stay with you for like ever.
And then people with like really vivid imaginations, they don't just think about it being negative. It's everything. It's like the feeling, where I was at, the mindset I was in, and it's really easy to recreate that in your mind, which makes that overstimulation like twice as more difficult to get over than somebody else. Because I definitely suffer from that too. When I tell you things I don't like, that's why I remind you all the time. If I tell you I don't like this, this is why. Remind me that's why I don't like it.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things too where if you're not actively trying to get over that aversion to like whatever you have an aversion to, it's not gonna happen. You have to actively make reading a positive experience for yourself.
Right.
And if you're not going to do that because you have the negative associations with reading, then you will it's a never-ending circle.
Well, you know what? She made a very good point in the video that was on my channel. Make sure you go see it. That she was working on that with manga. Does that? The mangoes.
Manga.
With the pictures and stuff.
Excuse me, Chavezz. It's manga.
Right? The reading mangoes. She does that, with the pictures and the colors help her get over that feeling that she has of like it's like a book that you have to read or whatever. But good luck to y'all. She's not the only one dealing with that. I don't see comment.
And like if you're struggling, like I don't want y'all to feel like I'm shitting on people who don't like to read.
Right.
It's just, it is literally just such a foreign concept to me, and like the reasoning that she gave me until we got to like the end just didn't make any sense, because she was like, well, my mom forced me to read, and because she forced me to read, I didn't want to read. And I was like, when my mom forced me to do stuff, I just did it because I didn't want to get my ass beat. So like
maybe her mom should have beat her more.
Wait, Tell
your mom to beat you more. Yeah, I mean, it really is one of those stories. That's why I like Jaiden's animation so much. She goes out of her way to make sure she babies the audience on the feelings front, which we don't do enough. So people always feel like they're attacked.
Fuck your
You know what I mean? Fuck y'all things. And she does a really good job of that. And she always does a good job of just being like, this is my experience. You know what I mean? And I know it's not everybody's experience, but that's what makes it, something that it's unique to me.
Oh, well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave your reaction requests and recommendations down in the comments below. Also, just a reminder that I'm slowly but surely approaching 50K subs, and when I do, there will be a giveaway. So make sure you're following me on my various social media platforms.
What you would have seen with the chibi at the start of the video, go follow her there everywhere.
Anti-Cousins, peace out, ho biscuits. It's Skittin' Lit.